Good morning and welcome to Clarity Design Tutorials. We're just going to have a quick look at extrusion modelling using polygons in May 2011, and like always we'll try and keep this as quick and precise as possible to give you the information you need to go away and start working on something for yourself. This tutorial will not give you a step-by-step on how to make a certain object, it's just going to show you the skills that you need to get by. So first of all, let's just get set up inside Maya. So you want to be on the polygon shelf up here, so make sure that's on polygon selected, and you want to make sure you're on the polygon menu set by clicking on the down arrow and selecting polygon, and that means that you're going to have the right options at the top. You can get to these options at the top using the Hotbox menu, using the Hotbox menu down here in Edit Mesh, but you might not want to use that. I will certainly be using the ones at the top so as to not confuse people, so just an awareness that that's there. So we'll just go back to the selection tool. Now what we're going to do first of all is we'll make a cube. We could use the cube here, or I can go to create polygons and I can create a cube in the scene. I can draw that out. Now whilst I'm drawing that out I press shift, then it will combine all the three dimensions at the same time. That will do, and let's just centralise that off in the channel bar there in the scene, so it's in the centre of the scene. Okay, I'm going to press F, focus in on that, and I'm ready to start work. Now, the first thing is that actually I want to divide this a little bit, just ever so slightly before I start work, just because I know where I'm going with this. Whenever you're using polygons to model, you should be thinking about the structure and what you're going to use that model for in the end, and how much you want it to look like real life, or how much you want it to change from real life. So these are some of the thoughts that should be passing through your mind. Knowing what I'm going to kind of start forming here, I just want to change the subdivision of the height to 2, so that I've got the division that I need to start with. It's the quickest way of dividing that in the history here. Normally once you've started modelling and you've started deforming this object, you won't change these original subdivisions normally. So here we go. Now the first thing I need to do is I'm going to select a face, so I'm going to right click, get the marking menu up, I'm going to go into faces, so I'm in part mode, faces, and you can see the colour of the lines has changed, so I'm going to select that face down there, and I'm just going to show you what happens when I move that. Now be careful, because occasionally, particularly if you drag a marquee, you'll select more than one face accidentally. From this point of view you might think that you're just deforming the one face, but you can see the manipulator is further back than actually sitting on the face. When I've got one face selected, then it picks up and it's sitting on the face itself, so a little indicator there. And look what happens when I pull this out. What's happening is the face is moving forward, and the other faces that are attached to it are having to deform and change size and shape to account for that new position of that face that's been manipulated. But there are no extra edges, there are no extra sides that have been created for this face. Now an extrusion looks very different. When I click on the extrude tool, which is this option here, or I can go to edit mesh extrude, I get a manipulator tool. Now this manipulator tool encompasses the move, the scale and the rotate, so that you can do all of the different things with the object without having to go and change tools. And it's also got this little pointer here which changes it from object to face mode, so manipulating it from the object's point of view or from the face's point of view if you like. So I can scale that in, I can play around with it, I can get the shape exactly right, and when I'm happy with it I can get rid of that tool and I can move it on. So I'm just going to scoot around the other side, make sure I haven't deformed it inaccurately. There's two ways of doing that. I could scoot around it, or I could press spacebar quickly and have a look, check it's all centralised in my other scenes. Yeah, happy with that. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to show you a couple more tools. For example, if I want to, I could let's just pick up this whole face here, and I'm going to pick up this whole face here, pressing shift to click the two faces at once. And then if I click on the extrude button this time, I use the shortcut. I can pull those out, and you can see how Maya is using the centre line, and it's working out that actually I want the opposite to happen on the other side. So this is a nice easy way of manipulating something in Mirror. You'll notice that the scale tools work, but when I move, the move tool is not working quite right. So what I want to do is go to the world option, and then when I move, I can move the options as I want, or as I intended, and I can go back into this view. Let's just pull that out a little bit further. Now once I'm happy with that, I can click away and I can start moving on to the next thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click extrude again, I'm going to pull that edge out again, and I can push that back a little bit here. You can have some real fun just playing around with these until you're happy. I'm just going to do one more extrusion just to show you one other element which is quite fun. So let's just shift select this, these two faces here. These are going to be kind of our air intakes, if you like, for a jet. Well, if it was a spaceship it wouldn't be able to have a jet because it lives in a vacuum, but we'll ignore that. So I'm going to click on the extrude tool, and this time I'm going to scale in. Oh, hello. Control Z. Control Z. I made a mistake there. Let's just grab that one and that one again, and just click on the extrude tool. That's better. So I can scale it in this way, scale it in this way, because extrusions you always think that they have to come outwards. They don't. They can go back as well. They can drop inside the vehicle, so you can give a recess there. You can play around with that until you're happy with the shape and the size. Oh, there's that one with move tool again. You can see how I'm manipulating that. There we go, to the shape, or the sort of shape that I like there. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. Now, what I want to do is I want to get some more detail in the front of the ship here that I've started to create, but I've not got any divisions, so I need to start subdividing this shape. Now, if I want to use, I could use two different tools here. I could use the cut faces or the split polygon tool. Okay, let's go for the split polygon tool first. It says click drag on the first edge, and what it means is left click and hold down. When you're happy with the position of that, let go and click on the next one. It really doesn't matter if it's not quite right, because you can pick those points up and move them about afterwards, so I'll deliberately do it incorrectly. And then when you're happy with that, press enter and or return, and you'll find that solidifies those points into the shape. Now if I right click, I can go and pick up those vertex, and as I said, it didn't really matter before, because we can correct these positions afterwards if we want to. So the best thing to do here is, you can see it's getting pretty tricky to try and get those in the right place. I'm just going to go to the front view and zoom in on the front view here, and then I can line them up with the grid. If I wanted to, I could switch on grid snapping, just up here, and that will just snap those points into the centre there. And this is one of those times where you're using the grid that Maya gives you, and the fact that we've positioned it centrally to help us position objects. So let's just go back to that one. So there we go, subdivided the front there. I can start manipulating that now. So let's go and get the edges. You can extrude edges. It's not very often that you need to extrude an edge, because most objects that you generate are three-dimensional objects, and a single face or edge being extruded would generate a two-dimensional face in an area. So it's not very often that needs to happen. So I'm just picking up these vertex, trying to talk at the same time as manipulate here. So I'm just picking up that, giving it a slight bend on the front of the ship there. Now, like I said, there is another way of splitting polygon shapes. So let's just go and have a look at that. So that was the split polygon tool. So let's go back to object mode, and this time I'm going to use the cut faces tool. Now if I have the whole of the object selected whilst I do this, then it will slice through the whole of my object. You ready? So I position it just randomly, and that has cut through every single face all the way around the object. You see it? Which is pretty useless actually, most of the time. You can use the different views to help you get it accurate, but what's more helpful is if you have a face selected. So if I select that face and then I go back to that same tool, the cut faces tool, and then I can pick up a point, and as I cut through, I can cut through just that face. So let's go to the top view. I'll just use this one here, and I can cut through that face, and it's a little bit quicker to cut through that face. You can see how easy it is to cut through on particular angles. Oh, let's just try that again. There we go. And we can subdivide that shape up, and again, you know, we can start extruding that and playing around with it. You can see the basic theory here. I'm generating divisions where I need them, and I'm trying not to generate too many divisions all at once that I don't need, or that I'm not going to use. So on the top here, let's go to those vertex. I've just got 2 points here. You see these 2 points? So I just Control Z, my selection tool, pick up that point there. I'm just going to move that over so that it's at the same point as the other one. I could remove them, but I'm not going to do that in this tutorial, so I could select the two. Actually, let's just do it. Combine those points together. I'm just going to pick up this point here, and I'm just going to move that up slightly to give the roof a slightly nicer shape. And then we're just going to leave it there for now. So if I press 3, by the way, I get something that looks a little bit more fun and cartoony, and you can see how that might transfer into a subdivision surface and become the sort of shape that we might be looking for. Okay, press 1 and we go back to the default polygon look. Okay, that's going to draw this to a close, so just to